So in this video, we are going to talk about expressions and statements. I'll mention statements just very shortly. A statement is some piece of Python code that represents some kind of instruction for your computer to perform, or for the interpreter to perform. So we've seen that in the form of assignment statements, such as assigning the value 5 to x. We will also see that in for loops and while loops. Those are both statements. If statements are statements. The next statement we'll be seeing in the upcoming videos is the import statement, where we say, hey, go and load up this library because I want to use code from it. That imports the math module that has all the complicated math code that we don't want to have to figure out to do on our own, like square root. So, but expressions are really what I want to talk about. Expressions are what are pieces of Python code or pieces of code that basically get evaluated into a single value. Expressions get evaluated. They get simplified and turned into something. We've been dealing with expressions a whole lot. Here's a simple expression, 7. And that statement is just a literal. That's also an expression. This is an expression, and it got evaluated and said, aha, there's our answer. But here's another expression, 3 plus 4. That gets evaluated into 7. Here's another expression, 2 plus the length of hello. The len function is super useful, and I love it in Python, which just simply says, given this thing that has a length to it, I will tell you how long it is. So in this case, length of hello is 5. So here, we will be able to evaluate this expression by adding 2 to the length of hello. So 2 plus 5. That gives us 7 as well. Also, expressions can be made up of other expressions. So here, 3 plus 4, or 3 plus 4, I'll learn how to type, plus 2 plus length of hello. Notice that basically I've got an expression over that I've taken our previous 2 lines and added them together, and I parenthesized them just to emphasize that they are expressions to themselves. So 3 plus 4 gets evaluated as 7. 2 and length of hello. Well, length of hello goes first, and we figure out what length of hello is. Or rather, we add 2 to whatever length of hello is, so we got to evaluate what length of hello is. That gets evaluated to 5. And so 2 plus 5 get evaluated to 7, which gets added to the other 7. 14. Expressions are nice and easy like that. Expressions can be arbitrarily complicated. They can, so I could make this as big as I wanted to, but in general, you can have expressions be, generally, you don't want to make them too bad unless you're dealing with, some kind of advanced math equation. So let's go ahead and see what we can do over here. We can also throw in variables, right? So we've done literals, we've done operations, so we've done expressions with operations. We haven't thrown in a variable yet, so we have x already. Notice that that is an expression as well, and that gets evaluated to 5. X gets evaluated to 5. And here's another expression. X plus 7 plus len of la. How long is that? That is 6. So 5, 6, or 5, 7, 6 gives us 18. Again, this is just basic math here that we're doing here. So we can also throw in function calls to expressions. An expression might just be the function itself. Hey, what is the length of hello plus world? Remember, the plus sign over here for adding 2 words together does that fancy word concatenation, and all that means is that it glues hello and world together. And now, so this becomes hello world, all one word, which is 10 letters long, so the length of that is 10. Now I mentioned, again, I really love that length function, because in Java, one of the annoying things I had to do as a student was remember, wait a second, okay, I use dot length for an array, I use dot length with parentheses for a string, and I use dot size for everything else. That was a pain in the butt. So I'm very glad that basically for everything, if you want to know how big it is, you just throw it into this magic len function and it works. It's fantastic. So those expressions are fairly easy to, they're not complicated, but essentially if you can throw it onto the right hand of a, to the right hand of a of an assignment operation, assignment statement, it's an expression. So here's one. Here's an example. Size of word is equal to length of this. Now let's just go with this. And that'll give us 4. Now notice that it didn't actually, that when we do an assignment statement here, by the way, it doesn't print anything out. This is because this is what we call a REPL again, right? Read the statement that the user provides, evaluate any expressions, print the result if it's of what's been evaluated, and then loop. Or print the result and then loop. And when you do an assignment statement, there is no output of this, right? There's no, it just simply internally sets this. So that's why there's nothing to print, so it doesn't print anything until I actually give it an expression to print. So it evaluates this expression, and then it just finishes, and then it performs the statement. So again, it's much clearer if you do it with the writing a script, but I honestly just did not want to write print a bunch of times. You can call me lazy.